Welcome back everyone. Today we'll be discussing the Yeezy 350 Beluga Reflective once again. Specifically, we'll be discussing whether it should sell or hold the Yeezy 350 Beluga for Reflective and why that is. To preface this, if you guys enjoy these types of videos regarding the market, reselling, and even info on how to acquire these limited products, be sure to subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you're 100% updated. Furthermore, for more urgent updates like the recent shock drops we've seen, follow my Twitter KeithAdam10 and personals for you. For those who don't know, the Yeezy 350 Beluga Reflective releases on December 18th, tomorrow. Retail will be $240 for men's sizes, those of which we'll be discussing today. This is $20 more than the usual 350s, unfortunately, and that of course will negatively impact your ROI. But regardless, we'll discuss that more later. Since this is an Adidas product, I cannot confirm the stock myself, but according to Yeezy Mafia, the stock is over 1 million pairs, making this one of the biggest Yeezy drops ever, similar to the cream white restock of September 2018. If you're watching this video before the drop, feel free to watch my How to Comp video where I provided a full site list for these. Otherwise, let's continue. In order to determine if the Yeezy 350 Beluga Reflective will be a fruitful hold, we will cover an estimated range of what the sneaker will settle at after the drop, and also when shipments come in, essentially the pairs going into circulation, whether they're expected to increase post-drop or even hypothetically decrease, along with how much specifically over specific periods of time, and finally, what type of margin are we looking at for these in terms of holding. Not the retail to resell initial margin, but rather just the hold margin over X period of time. Basically, are these actually going to be worth your time or not? Kicking it off, let's discuss the estimated range that these should be settling at. To begin with, stock for these is absolutely insane, as we've already discussed. Similarly, demand for these is also absolutely insane. Deja vu, anyone? We just saw this exact situation occur with the Jordan 11 Cool Gray, and those performed even slightly better than I initially predicted in my seller hold video. This immense demand on these is very clearly reflected through the very steady high bids, as well as the consistently immense sale volume. It has not slowed down one bit, and it will continuously increase after the drop. The pre-sale itself is also holding up very well, even better than the Cool Grays which we discussed, but we'll discuss why that is in a bit. This of course makes perfect sense considering this is the original Yeezy 350 V2 colorway, which has been extremely hyped since the initial drop. On top of that, now this is the reflective variant. You bet people are going crazy for these. Retail is pretty high, unfortunately, at $240 for these, hence this will inevitably hinder the margin. However, I am still confident that these will still maintain profitability, especially in larger sizes 10 and up, the bigger being the better. As I stated in my How to Comp video, I would be prepared not to expect too great of a ROI, unfortunately, due to the very high retail of $240, especially if you have tax in your state, or if you happen to live in Europe and you're dealing with 240 euros rather than 240 US dollars. Regardless, these are still certainly a go in my opinion. Even if the margin isn't really great, small profit really does add up, especially if you're able to get multiple pairs, and on a drop like this with a lot of stock, you definitely might be able to. I'm personally going full throttle, all out for these in all sizes, just like I did for the Cool Grays. Now, regarding a specific range, prices have already seen the vast majority of their pre-drop decrease following the Finish Line early access pairs, Flex app reservation pre-sellers, and general early pairs. This leaves the current average at about $372 from sizes 4 to 14, but of course, this is only the pre-drop average. We normally see a notable change post-US drop. This is when we normally experience what I like to refer to as the impulsivity effect. You guys should know what I'm referring to by now, as we discuss it in every seller hold video. Regarding the impulsivity effect, if you haven't watched my videos before, sneaker drops specifically impact human impulsiveness significantly after an individual fails to acquire that desired product due to insufficient supply and too much demand. Therefore, on average, we normally see about a 10% increase of the pre-drop prices post-drop. Now that 10% isn't always the case, such as when a sneaker is already slightly overvalued. When it came to the Cool Grays, I was actually anticipating a 5% drop in value rather than an increase, but the pre-drop prices actually held up and did not decrease at all, which is not what I expected, but all the better because it allowed us to profit more, of course. Now, assuming Yeezy Mafia stock is correct, and these really do have that insane stock as well, I would still expect a 5% decrease like I initially predicted on those Cool Gray 11s, rather than an an increase from the impulsivity effect like we normally see, I'm now expecting that very minor decrease. First of all, pre-sale on these is slightly higher than the cool grays were already, leaving much more room for a decrease, but let's also examine why this might be so high compared to the cool grays if the stock is supposed to be very high as well. Well, if you guys recall, well over 100k pairs of the cool gray already dropped through exclusive access and the shock drop on Sneakers US alone. Granted, lots of these Belugas are in circulation too, but not even close to the magnitude of the pairs that were already out for the cool grays. And that, of course, did affect the pre-sale pretty heavily. Hence, I am expecting around a 5% post-drop decrease on these Beluga 350s. If they don't, all the better for our profit, of course, but I would be ready to prepare for that drop in value right after the drops are over. This is assuming Yeezy Mafia stock is correct, as I can't confirm the Adidas stock myself. This, of course, is not what occurs in most cases, where we usually see a 5 to 15% increase for profitable items, normally around 10%. That's not what I'm expecting at these current prices, though. This could potentially leave the average at about $353 tomorrow after all drops are over, with the larger sizes still being the best. Hence, even the worst sizes should still be above $300. Now, let's discuss what prices will look like when the shipments go out in the 1 to 2 week range. Now, during this period, the vast majority of pairs, of course, will be going in circulation. Considering even the post-drop average is quite high, this certainly leaves a ton of room for them to decrease. One important thing to note, unlike the cool grays though that we just saw, as I mentioned earlier, there was already a ton of those cool gray 11s in circulation just from the shock drop and exclusive access pairs alone, where these on the other hand definitely don't have as many pairs in circulation already, hence the higher pre-sale. Although demand is extremely high on these in general, with stock of this magnitude, I definitely expect a notable drop in price, potentially up to 10% in value, potentially up to around 10% from their post-drop prices. I would normally expect a 15% drop with stock of this magnitude, but since I'm not expecting a positive impulsivity effect, this does reduce the potential amount they may decrease by after the shipments go out. So this decrease after shipments could potentially leave prices at an average of $318. Therefore, even the worst sizes should be below $300, but still in the upper 200s, very close to $300, still allowing for some minor profit with or without tax on even these bad sizes. For clarification, unlike how Yeezy 350 used to be, I'm expecting larger sizes to perform the best for these. At least that's how it's been for recent production of 350s. Therefore, size 10 and up will likely be the best, bigger being the better. But regardless of that, I'm still going to be going for all sizes, and I'd suggest to do the same, especially if you don't have tax in your state and you're okay with not having the greatest ROI. Now that the average price ranges at those points in time are evident though, let's discuss whether they're expected to increase from that post-shipment range or hypothetically decrease from that or even stay flat. When it comes to these, the most useful comparison will be the Yeezy 350 Cream, specifically what occurred after that September 2018 massive restock of around 1.5 million pairs. First thing to note is that this was more stocked by a pretty large amount than the Belugas are supposed to have, at least according to Yeezy Mafia. Not only that, but those definitely had significantly less demand than these Belugas had. Evidently, because of that higher stock and the lower demand, these were hardly profitable at all after the drop, aside from some of the smaller sizes. Only the small sizes were really profitable, and it wasn't really by a great amount, with some of the large sizes actually sitting for 3 days on the Adidas website. Many of the sizes were at a low of $240, with some ranging to $270. Since then, however, they have consistently increased. Although it did take a very notable amount of time for them to reach what they're at right now, they nonetheless still did continuously increase. I'd expect a proportional reaction for these Beluga Reflectives, with pairs being at their absolute lowest after shipments go out, then continuously increasing. Finally, regarding the hold margin on these, essentially, are these actually going to be worth your time or not, even if they do go up? Considering I'm expecting these to increase in a proportional manner to those Cream 350s, this means we should indeed get to see a pretty healthy ROI over the long run, just like we've already seen on those Cream 350s. However, due to the very high stock on those Creams, this was not a rather quick increase. Just like we discussed on the Cool Gray 11 video, where we discussed the prior Jordan 11 Concord Court and Jordan 11 Bread, or those increased and they had a great ROI, it still did take them a lot of time considering the stock was so immense. Hence, I have decided to rate these a 6 out of 10 hold, just like I did for the Cool Gray 11. I'm giving a lot of credit to these considering they're a pretty safe hold in my opinion and almost guarantee a solid ROI in the long run, just like we discussed in the Cool Gray video as well. Had this been achievable in a year's time, I'd rate these much higher, but sadly, this will take a while. But regardless, I'd still say this is an above average hold, just like we discussed in the Cool Gray 11 video. More of the story is that if you're patient and you don't need the funds right now, you should definitely consider holding these. This is of course assuming these settle somewhat around what I'm predicting, or if they settle even lower than what I'm predicting, that just makes the hold even that much better because it leaves much more room for an even better ROI. However, on the contrary to this, if they somehow settle well over $400 somehow after shipments, I'd reconsider holding, considering that is definitely going to significantly hinder your potential ROI, and at that point I'd most likely end up quick selling these. But what I'm predicting right now, and if they do even worse than that, I'm definitely planning on holding my pairs. Also, just a note in general, for anyone considering holding any items who do have low capital, you should never hold anything unless you have sufficient capital to go for as many drops as possible at your full potential without holding back. If you need money to go for all drops, try to sell these as soon as possible. Let me know what you guys are doing with your pairs in the comments below. Since this is a discussion at the end of the day, I can't predict the future. That's just my personal analysis based on the data that I've personally acknowledged. We have a lot of brilliant minds watching the video right now, so I implore you to leave your notions in the comments below. Anyway, that'll conclude it for today. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, or perhaps if you learned a thing or two, subscribe and enable post notifications just to stay 100% updated on all hyped releases. Also, feel free to check out the links in the description below for reliable, fast, residential proxies and pre-verified Nike sneakers or Adidas accounts. Also, feel free to follow Endurance's Twitter for updates on restocks or key giveaways, and the same goes for Gargantua if you want to keep up with the progress or restocks. Last but not least, make sure to follow Keith Adam 10 and Personals for you. This way you guys stay updated on all urgent info like I was discussing today. With that though, I will see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and if you're watching this video before the drop, of course, good luck. And if you already copped, congratulations.